The Docklands Light Railway is an automated British light rail rapid transit system in London. Built to justify the existence of the Isle of Dogs, just before Barclays and his mates came along a bit later, the DLR has been providing a pivotal link through the Docklands area of London, taking a slight amount of pressure off the D7 and the 108 bus routes. And I really do mean a slight amount with regards to the 108. I hate riding this bus route so much. It needs bus lanes and bendy buses right now, please TFL, I'm begging. It can be seen serving interesting places including King George V, Limehouse, Canary Wharf, Millwall, Mudchute, Blackwall, London City Airport, Stratford's High Street, Bank, Lewisham, East India, Cyprus, some random boat, and the totally Willoughby Road. Just trust me, mate. So do I think these trains operate anything less than a decent train service in East London? Or is it more of an elaborate gimmick to please children and yobbos? Let's hop aboard and find out. Much like how we reviewed the Croydon Tramlink, we shall focus more on the network as a whole, rather than just the trains running on it. Obviously the biggest appeal of the DLR is the automatically driving trains. The answer given of exactly how driverless trains work will vary depending on the age of the person asking the question. Because of this, being the benevolent overlord that I am, I offer you the chance to go to the timecode listed on screen if you want to skip learning the truth and spoiling the magic for the kids. Ignorance is bliss after all, as there are multiple methods and systems in place for automatic train operation across the world. Each system is categorized under a different grade of automation. Simplified for the sake of brevity, the categories are as follows. Grade 0 is no level of automation, with driving the train purely on site. This can be seen with tram systems that lack any form of advanced cab signaling or other forms of street running. Grade 1 is the standard system of operating a train, with the driver operating all aspects of the train, including the operation of the doors, safeguarded by onboard safety systems and automatic train protection equivalents. For the purposes of discussion, trains that have guards to open and or close the doors will also be included on this grade as well. Grade 2 is semi-automatic operation. The train automatically starts and stops, guided by witchcraft systems and beacons, as well as have some form of in-cab signaling such as ETCS level 2 or above, but that's it. The driver is still present to operate the doors and to drive the train during disruption. This system is used on the Victoria Line in London, and if you want to stretch the definition of semi-automatic, you can class the Paris RER Line A as a grade 2 system as well. Grade 3 is driverless, with the train automatically starting and stopping just like in grade 2, but with no driver. A member of staff is still employed to operate the doors as well as drive the train in emergencies. Grade 3 isn't too common around the world, but the monorail at Walt Disney World falls into this category. And finally grade 4 is the full Skynet. The train is 100% unattended, with no member of staff to help you on board the train or to tell you off for public masturbation. These systems are commonly seen on airport shuttles to move passengers between terminals as well as in systems like the Metro Mover in Miami, Florida. Certain level 4 systems such as the Paris Metro also have platform screen doors for an extra level of safety during operation. The Docklands Light Railway actually fits under grade 3, as there is a member of staff on board all trains to operate the doors and to take over driving the train if it has a hissy fit. I would like to imagine that grade 4 operation would be theoretically possible with the DLR, but even thinking about it would instantly result in union intervention. There are sadly some scrubs out there who have been arguing that because the DLR can operate automatically, then it should be possible to operate the entire British railway network automatically too, reducing the impact of strike action.
Would you, on behalf of your members, ever accept driverless trains? And without you immediately saying no, you admit it works on DLR?
Whilst I don't personally enjoy rugby tackling people with impaired reasoning skills, and ignoring that this is a country that can't even teach people to read warning signs, or how to use level crossings properly, I feel like it's very important to list off just a handful of reasons as to why I think automatic trains on the main line won't work for the foreseeable future. Until these issues are sorted out, let's try and not bum rush these advancements. Anyway, back to the DLR. The network comprises of several branches that spread out across from the Docklands basin and reaching parts of East London. There are 6 main routes, each of them running between every 5 to 10 minutes off peak. The majority of stations are elevated, but some are located at ground level and 4 of them are located in tunnels. Unlike the Croydon Tramlink, the DLR has been blessed with various extensions and new stations throughout its life. The most recent extension was to the ghost town of Stratford International in 2011. As well as connecting Canary Wharf, the DLR offers excellent connections with the rest of the London Underground. Interchange with 7 lines as well as the Overground, Crossrail and National Rail services is possible, as well as connecting with various bus routes and the piece of crap cable car to grift easy money from tourists at Royal Victoria Docks. The fare structure on the DLR is similar to the rest of the London Underground, using a zonal fare system and payable using standard tickets, Oyster cards or contactless bank cards. However, much like the Croydon Tramlink, the majority of stations on the network, excluding large interchanges, are unstaffed and lack ticket barriers. I assure you that this fact has had no impact on the high revenue the DLR has been bringing in for the past several years. All the stations on the DLR are well designed and feel like more effort has been given to one station than the entire Croydon Tramlink. Decent seating, shelters, ticket machines, live departures and step-free access from the train is provided. Very nice. 2 types of rolling stock see current use on the Docklands Light Railway today, being the B90 and the B07 stock. Both of these trains operate on all routes and services on the network, and are powered by a spicy third rail, with the power shoe placed underneath as opposed to it being placed on top. Trains are typically referred to as single cars, despite them being formed of 2 coaches, so we'll use that term here for the sake of consistency. At least TfL are sensible enough to have trains run in pairs or triple formation most of the time, and single trains are rarer than a Deutschbahn train running on time. The profile of the wheels allows for the DLR rolling stock to navigate stupidly sharp curves with a radius as small as 38 meters. For comparison with Network Rail, I estimate the radius of the curve at Earlstown, with its very sharp and slow curves, to be around 135 meters. This number was estimated using Google Maps and basic geometry, so if I've got it wrong, please don't feed me to the basking sharks. Oh, and there's also supposed to be an upcoming train type called the B23, which should have entered service by now, however they are built by CAF.
What just happened?
Bombardier built both the B90 and B07 units, the former in their factory at Bruges and the latter in a forest clearing in Saxony. Delivery was accepted in exchange for a free carnival ticket at Sheerness. The B90 interior offers a standard 2+2 seating arrangement, with a good amount of grab poles and large areas for standing around the doors. The B07 used to share the same interior layout, but a gale longitudinal seating arrangement was fitted a few years ago. Upon research, the pre-refurbishment interior of the B90 rolling stock did have a longitudinal layout as well. This escaped my memory from the first time I rode it, but I hate it even more knowing this was a thing. The seats themselves are a bit mediocre, with just enough padding to not cry at. The short journeys these trains run on make this less of an issue, and I have been on other tube trains with worse seats. Hello there. But I thought to bring it up anyway. A wheelchair space is located in the center of the train, with pitifully small folding seats. No air conditioning is provided on either train type because lol, but large opening windows are at least provided to ventilate the crack smokers from Boatchurch. Obviously the main appeal of all the Docklands stock is being able to sit at the front of the train and pretend you are driving it. Don't lie, we've all done it, and there's no shame in it since it's pretty fun and harmless at the end of the day. The train does swerve quite a bit at speeds due to the profile of the wheels, which can be unnerving. But just tell yourself that the driver has it under control, and you'll be fine. Also worth mentioning that unlike the underground, you have to use effort by pressing the button to open the doors, which still confuses certain people. Another thing that catches people out is that triple formation trains are too long for the platforms at certain stations, so selective door opening has to be used here, with the doors on the first and last coaches not opening. Pay attention for once, and you won't miss your stop at Cutty Sark. Also, I'll crowbar in to say that these trains are fast, with a top speed of between 40 and 50 miles per hour and a maximum acceleration rate of 1.4 meters per second squared, which would be the fastest accelerating vehicles we've looked at so far in this series. The original train types that saw use on the DLR during the first decade of operation were the P86 and P89s. They lacked an emergency exit at the front and couldn't run on the tunnel extensions to Bank and Lewisham, so they were out-kicked to the German village of Essen, where they still see use today on the Stadtbahn. As a treat for you all, we'll have a cheeky look at these units here now, though they will not contribute to the overall verdict of the DLR for obvious reasons. The P80 rolling stock, built by Link Hoffman Bush and BR Engineering Limited, went through some changes in order to run properly on Essen Stadtbahn. A cab taking up the front row of seats was added, as well as pantographs to utilize the 750 volt catenary system used there. They are used on all 3 lines of the network, which offer a mixture of underground, overground and even street running. Seeing Docklands rolling stock casually trundling down the back roads and streets of Gelsenkirchen like this is such an unnerving sight to see. Despite being built to Stadtbahn gauging, the train is still 3.5 meters tall, which is taller than an Invero 200. The interior of these units feels like it was frozen in time since the 1980s, and the seats are even worse than before. The fabric may as well be painted on with a single layer of gloss for how horrible they are. It's still largely a 2+2 arrangement, but the doors are now single sliding, and there are additional spaces for pushchairs too, which is nice at least. Ticket validators have been installed by the doors for stamping your ticket, though none of the stations have ticket barriers. They also sound more boring than the B92 and B07 stock, being a medium pitched drone. Outside of hiring some monkeys to fix up the B23 trains, there doesn't seem to be too much to discuss in regards to the DLR's future. One idea that has been proposed would be a new branch off the Beckton line, heading under the river to Thamesmead. I'd support this extension personally, though I think it would also help if it went a little bit further into the likes of Bexley. Under the assumption that it gets confirmed, it's most likely that this line won't be complete until the 2030s anyway. Conclusion. I think the DLR is pretty good in its current state, and I'd find it quite fun to go and ride on from time to time, even if it serves areas with crime rates rivaling the Purge. The various extensions have helped increase its viability and provide good links across the river. Unlike the Croydon Tramlink, TfL seem to give the square root of a damn regarding the DLR and its future. If that's only because it goes through Canary Wharf, and that various businessmen would throw their Pret a Manger lunch at them as protest, then I can believe that. Plus it's cool to see driverless trains in action without having to go on some crappy airport shuttle. Hopefully the future extensions will add better connections to the surrounding areas of East London. And whilst they're at it, maybe TfL could do something else smart nearby, like turning the East London Transit into a trolleybus or tramway. Never mind. Now you know my thoughts on the Docklands Light Railway. Go out there and remember that because it serves Custom House for the XSAIL Exhibition Centre, the DLR most likely carries more ferries and weeaboos than any other transit line in London. No refunds for this knowledge.